You know, it was the late Freddie Shero and told his Flyers teams before their first cup that, you know, we win today and we walk together forever. And it's true. We will be together forever.
I know I said this before the third period, but I want everyone to hear this. Today, we walk together forever!
June 7th, 2004 will always be a special date for anyone who follows hockey in Tampa Bay. It's the night a dream became a reality. The night the Lightning were crowned kings of the hockey world in just their 12th season of existence. In some respects, it's as close to an overnight success as the game has seen. In other ways, it's a story that's taken a dozen years to write.
Phil Esposito did such a great job in terms of convincing a number of people to get the franchise here to start with. And I really believe that Phil had the organization on the right track. The team did make the playoffs there and seemed to be trending in the right way. The new building was built in downtown Tampa and things seemed to be looking up, and yet there was always a sense that capitalization of the club was not where it needed to be. And then the pressure was on Phil to start trading players and try to get payroll down and do all of those things. And some good young talent was allowed to leave town. And then finally the team was sold. Art came in, and one of the first things he did was he fired Phil and Tony, promoted Jacques Demers, who had been the head coach, made him the general manager as well. And what was amazing about that was that Art had closed on the transaction in June, and by December of that same year, he was looking to sell the team. So once again, we spin off to a new owner, and that's when Mr. Davidson bought the team. Immediately, Rick Dudley came in as the general manager, so Jacques was out, both as GM and head coach. So in the space of really less than a year and a half, you had 3 different general managers, and we were clearly an organization that was in turmoil. It was a revolving door.
Through the turbulence, Dudley managed to lay the foundation for calmer waters.
The most important transaction that Rick did was really to land Nikolai Habibulin. That built a foundation under the team, and it gave the team the confidence to believe that it could win every single night.
Dudley also signed a Calgary castoff who seemed to have the skill, if not the size, to succeed.
When I came here, obviously, it was a new beginning for me. Hopefully I was going to get more playing time and a bigger role. My first game of the year, I played a minute 51, and I was like, wow. At first, it was tough. I wasn't playing much. I was scratched a few times. And it took me about a month and a half, 20, 25 games into the season, then I started playing more. And that's when the torch took over.
When John Tortorella first took over the Lightning, I think he made it his first priority to get the team on the same page. By the end of the season, you could see some progress, but you could also see that they had a long way to go.
The transformation of the Lightning was underway. What they needed now was a veteran voice in the dressing room.
After my year in Buffalo, I ended up, deciding whether I was going to continue to keep playing or not. That was the question, whether I was going to retire. While I was up north, my wife got the call from Rick Dudley.
Dud's had a relationship with Andy and was able to convince him that this was the place to be and come in here and be a veteran leader.
To have David come in here and provide some of the intangibles as far as leadership's concerned is the most important thing that's happened here. You cannot get anything accomplished on the ice until that locker room is straightened out as far as how to be a professional, how to compete, how to prepare. You need someone to stand up and say, this is how we're going to do it. That's what David brings to us here.
I believed in John's system. I believed in what he was doing, and I think my presence in the room and me pushing the system, I think that helped the guys follow.
Under John Tortorella's direction, the Lightning began to shake their label as perennial underachievers. However, a rift developed between the head coach and star forward Vincent Lecavalier, creating a volatile situation.
I think coaches get put into a little bit of a box when they start coaching players. They're only allowed to coach and tell them good things. I think if you're being a proper coach and going about it the right way, there's going to be some correcting. It's not criticizing, it's correcting. And I think sometimes the ego doesn't like the criticizing or the correcting, however you want to put it. You're not always going to agree on it.
When I was named general manager, my very first meeting was with Vincent Lecavalier. I brought Vinny into my office here and I said, whatever my legacy is going to be, and I don't know what it'll be, and I don't know how much time I'm going to have here in Tampa as the GM, but whatever my legacy is, my legacy won't be that I'm going to be known forever as the GM who traded Vincent Lecavalier. And I told him, I said, Vinny, I don't know where the ship known as the SS Tampa Bay Lightning is heading. It may be a luxury liner, and we're going on a wonderful cruise together. It may be the Titanic, and we're going to end up at the bottom of the ocean. But wherever we're going, the three of us, John, Vinny, and Jay, are all going to be on that ship together.
I think it's one of the greatest dynamics in sports is a coach and a player trying to find the right road. That is our job as a coach, is to try to direct them down the right road.
Obviously, everybody will look at the Vinny Lecavalier situation because that's the one that's brought to the forefront so often. But he's done it to Marty St. Louis. He's done it to Brad Richards. He's done it to Tim Taylor. He does it to everybody, and I think that's what has helped the team buy into his concept, is that they see it and they understand it and they realize what he's doing is not an individual thing. He's doing it for the team, and the team has grown from that.
With Jay Feaster at the helm, Tampa would chart a new course. He immediately set to work, creating an atmosphere where the Lightning could mature on and off the ice.
I think the big key in Jay running this team has been the concept of stability. Prior to when Jay took over as the general manager, there were a lot of changes personnel-wise. There were a lot of quality players here, but guys were shuffled in and out. They never really had a chance to grow together as a team. And the fact that he's resisted moving a lot of players who have become key components have been very important, as well as the controversial deal a couple of years ago at the draft where he traded the 4th overall pick in a three-way deal with the Flyers of Dallas and brings in Ruslan Fedotenko and Brad Lukowich.
In terms of trying to move the pick, the problem is that everybody wants to give you a player that's 30 years old and he's going to be unrestricted in a year or two. Whereas, again, if we can do this deal that we've been talking about, I think we can get a guy that can score 20 for us, can play on our top two lines, good guy defensively, he'd fit very well within the system. The reality of it is that the asset that we can get at 4 overall, we wouldn't be talking about it unless we were in a situation where, and we do, we need to win now.
I felt we had to get stronger. We had to be physically tougher. And so we went out and brought in Ruslan Fedotenko. We trade the 4th pick overall. We bring in Feds. We picked up, in addition to Fedotenko, 2 second-round picks. And we used one of those second-round picks to get Brad Lukowich. And what it did, it brought in 2 NHL players. It changed our depth entirely.
With that change came results. In the 2002-2003 season, the Lightning emerged as a force in the league for the first time, registering 93 points and their first Southeast Division title. Making the playoffs for only the second time, they rallied from an 0-2 hole against the Washington Capitals.
That was an important step in the growth of this franchise, was the fact that they were able to rally together with a late goal by Marty St. Louis, and then the triple overtime game in Game 6.
And we are underway. Next goal wins. Tampa Bay never has won a playoff series. St. Louis looking for Cavalier. St. Louis wheel shot, scores! Tampa Bay has won a series for the first time in its history.
Having gone through the emotional ringer to win 4 straight, something that very, very few teams have done in Stanley Cup history when they've lost the first 2 games at home, and then jump right into the next series, taking on a veteran team like the Devils, I think was a lesson that they weren't prepared to succeed with.
To be honest with you, I think as a team, I thought we played hard against Jersey the second round, but not nearly the level you need to play at in a second round of playoffs. I don't think we answered against Jersey. The checking that they had, and we didn't understand how hard you had to fight through that.
Niedermeyer is open, snaps a shot, save, Graham, the puck, Graham Marshall in overtime, and the Devils are going to the Eastern Conference Final.
That was the best experience in my life to play in the playoff last year. It was the first time. To have success, to win, you have to experience losses, defeat. And I think we matured as a team for what we went through. I was disappointed when we lost, not only for the loss, but knowing that we would have to play another 82 game to get to this level.
Cavalier in full flight down the wing, trying to slip around Gill. He did. He centered to shot. They score! Corey Stillman once again, and it's 3-0. Here's a throw. They score! St. Louis. And he gets it free. Hit Kavita. Could have a breakaway. Kozlov trying to chase it. Kubi's gone! Oh! Pavel Kavita in overtime wins it for the Lightning. Pass back to Cavalier. Open man. He faking. Getting Fernandez to Bobby. Scores! Oh! Vinny LeCavalier has tied it up. The Tampa Bay Lightning, they've established a new club record with 6 consecutive wins.
They started out red hot. I mean, they look like a team with a chip on their shoulder. They want to prove people wrong when they say they can't do something. And the hot start certainly validated the way they ended last year and proved they were for real, I think.
In early December, the Lightning experienced some injuries. At the same time, the offense went dry. And it got to a point where they were scoring so frequently and so easily, it seemed, early in the season. Now the goals weren't coming, the power play wasn't clicking, guys were squeezing the sticks a little bit. They had gone from a healthy lead in first place in the Southeast to 8 or 10 points out of the lead and in 10th place in the Eastern Conference. Now all of a sudden you're like, wow, they've got to rally to make the playoffs here.
I met with the whole team and more or less laid it on the line with our top players. The coaching staff was tired of hearing about that we're getting our chances, we're okay. We were losing, we're not okay. The onus does go on your top players as you're trying to get through a little bit of a jam during the season, and some of the players didn't like it. I know Marty was sat down the game before that, or 2 games before that, and lost some of his ice time.
Sometimes you feel you're close of coming out of a slump, or you feel your game is getting better, it's coming. You know, we're athletes, and your game is not going to always be on top.
He wanted to be the guy to lead us out, and he told me that, but he felt he needed more ice time. So he more or less put it in my court, and I said, okay, you're going to get your chance.
That day, he learned that he was going to start for the Eastern Conference All-Stars, which was a major accomplishment, obviously, with him and also the franchise. And for him to celebrate with 4 points in a 4-1 win in his hometown, it was a very special night.
greatest thing about this game is when you're in an 8-month type situation, there are always going to be some ups and downs. It's how you respond in each way, and we found our way through that and then started playing very well as a hockey club and turned things around.
The turnaround continued. Tampa won 10 of their last 12 in January. Even better, they finally acquired the veteran defenseman the team had needed.
Bringing in Sid, a guy who'd won. He was a Stanley Cup champion. He'd been to the finals 3 times. But he was also yet another veteran voice in that locker room. And so I really do. I think that Sid was the final piece of that puzzle.
Following Sador's arrival, the Lightning were nearly unbeatable, winning the Southeast Division for a second straight year. As the season ended, they sat atop the Eastern Conference with 106 points.
Playing hard in the playoffs, that's an easy thing to do. To me, that's almost a lazy thing to do. You have to play at a whole different level. If you want to be talked about with the Detroits and the Colorados and the Jerseys, you have to continue going about your business to get better.
The Tampa Bay Lightning have followed up an inspirational Stanley Cup performance last spring with a record-setting season. They come into the 2004 postseason ready to take a real shot at the Stanley Cup.
Now they're the #1 seed in the Eastern Conference, #2 overall. Let's see if they're legit.
The Lightning and the Islanders are anxious for this best-of-7 series to begin.
The Islanders had had regular season success against the Lightning and felt they matched up well for a #1 versus #8 meeting.
As the series began, New York tried to continue that trend, storming Nikolai Khabibulin.
Heritage roll by Khabibulin.
All Islanders, they have just completely dominated the Lightning.
While the Bulin wall held firm, the Islanders would not.
Eric Harris lost it. Waugh steals, shoots, he scores! Andre Waugh! And big Karen's there for it. Hurried by Richards. Odin waiting, he steals, he scores! Oh, what a forechecking play by the Lightning. It's 2-0.
Despite capturing the opener, the Lightning were clearly not at the top of their game.
The 3-0 win, it's great, but it masks a situation that has kind of prevailed in this regular season series. The Islanders have been a very sticky team for the Lightning to deal with.
And New York's 3-0 win in Game 2 was further proof that Tampa had their hands full.
We had split 1-1 in Tampa, and we felt that we should have been down 2-0. We really didn't deserve to win Game 1. Game 2, they pretty much dominated us. We had to get back to the basics and play really hard-nosed style of game and simplify things.
They got up to New York in preparation for Game 3, and they had a team meeting, and Daryl Sador spoke to the team about understanding what they're in.
I just had a feeling that we were in the playoffs just to be in the playoffs. And you look across and you see Dave Andrechuk. And I saw a situation where he was battling like crazy. And he was fighting for one thing, and that's the Stanley Cup. I don't think we had that yet in the first 2 games.
I remember Sid really being emotional about it, you know, like, obviously he's been through it a few times, and I think he realized that we didn't battle or leave it out there like we should be at this time of the year. And, I mean, we just took off after that.
Armed with new perspective, the Lightning dominated the next 2 games as St. Louis stepped to the forefront.
Behind the net, leaving it for Brad Richards. St. Louis shoots, he scores! Marty St. Louis off the pass from Richards.
Out to the neutral zone at the right side, St. Louis looking at the empty net. He shoots, score! Marty St. Louis puts the nail in the Islanders' coffin in Game 3.
Johnson turned back by St. Louis. And St. Louis going to work. He steals. He cuts in alone. He's gone! Oh, what a spectacular goal! Short-handed, Marty St. Louis. 1-0 Lightning.
He forechecks, he steals a puck, he scores a big goal, you know, at New York. That series is basically over. You know, everyone was talking, we don't want to go back to Long Island, and it's like he sensed that. He wants to move on. He's just checking things off his list.
St. Louis had one more chapter to write in overtime of Game 5.
St. Louis has a step left circle. He'll shoot. Score! What a goal by Marty St. Louis! And again, he's won it for the Lightning!
Marty St. Louis is, I think, in so many ways the heart and soul of this hockey club. he is a guy who just won't quit.
Wow. Series victory, Tampa Bay, and thank you, Marty St. Louis.
Up next, the 7th-seeded Montreal Canadiens, and a chance for 2 other Lightning players with French-Canadian roots to take center stage.
I think the feeling going into the Montreal series was, with LeCavalier and Brad Richards having played junior hockey there, this would give these guys extra spark.
That was unbelievable, that series. I mean, it was such a good time.
Trying to clear the zone, couldn't. It's held in St. Louis. Score! Deflected in by Vinny LeCavalier!
You know, it seems that everything was going right from the first series where I couldn't score a goal. You know, second series, it seems like, you know, every shot I took, it went in.
LeCavalier, right circle. Score!
Here's LeCavalier. He's got time. Scores! And Vinny LeCavalier has another one.
LeCavalier, 4 goals in 2 games of the series, heading up to the Bell Center for the next 2 games.
Going back home, playing in front of family and friends, playing the team that when I grew up I was watching, winning Stanley Cups, and now I was there playing against them and trying to eliminate them.
It's like a kid growing up, I guess, in New York, wanting to play for or beat the Yankees. For Vinny and Brad Richards, playing against Montreal was something they dreamed about their whole life, and being on that stage in that city, you could tell it was very special to them.
And down 3-2 late in Game 3, the pair did not disappoint.
With 16.5 seconds left, LeCavalier has done it again.
The shot between his legs, deflection, was one of the most amazing shots any of us have ever seen. Probably never to be duplicated. If he was able to sit and think that shot out and know what he was going to do, he was on a different plane at that moment, but he did it, and he got him to overtime, and Brad wins it.
Richards has scored the goal, and the Lightning win Game 3.
That was pretty special. Well, obviously, overtime goals in the Stanley Cup. Playoffs are always going to be remembered, but you know, it put us up 3-0 instead of 2-1. It was just unbelievable.
And all that remained was a curtain call in Game 4.
What a goal! And it's 2-1 Lightning as Brad Richards has struck.
3-1, Tampa Bay. They're going to go on to the next round with a sweep of the Montreal Canadiens.
I think they'll always kind of remember that Montreal one. Certainly they'll be talking about it with their friends when they go back home, and they'll have some fond memories of that one, I'm sure.
The Bolts had disposed of their first 2 opponents with relative ease. However, waiting for them in the conference finals, a more formidable foe.
Obviously, they played very well down the stretch. They were solid in the first rounds.
They got such good offense. They're skating, and you know, they're a tough team to play against. I was very confident going to the Philadelphia series. They have some big names and guys that have been around for a while, and I know they were a good team, but I really felt that we could pull it off.
And in Game 1, the Lightning took a step in the right direction. In Game 2, Tampa encountered something they'd yet to see thus far in the playoffs.
John LeClair!
An off night for Hobby Boulin.
Saigoff moved it into the middle of the shot. Score! Tavander! A 6-0 lead.
Suddenly, question marks where there had been none.
When we got beat pretty bad in Game 2, I think, you know, we went right back to Philadelphia, and I think a lot of people were probably thinking that, You know, it's going to be tough to win the games in Philadelphia, especially after the loss that we had.
And considering the Flyers had yet to lose at home this postseason, Tampa needed to make a statement in Game 3.
John Tortorella, the coach of Tampa Bay, talked about it today. He said, our best players have to play their best.
A pair of early goals staked Tampa to a 2-0 lead. But when Keith Primo closed the gap early in the third, one of Tampa's big guns stepped up.
Look out! Here's LeCavalier! Vinny LeCavalier scores! LeCavalier comes right back! They hadn't even stopped cheering the Primo goal, and LeCavalier sets them down.
Oh, baby, is this a high-octane play?
And any doubts about Hobby Bulin were erased this night.
What a save! Unbelievable! Nikolai Hobby Bulin is putting on an MVP show right now for Tampa Bay.
Later in the third, some icing on the cake.
St. Louis in center. Oh, score! What a play! What a pass! Brad Richards, 4-1 Tampa Bay.
All questions had been answered.
Any doubt about this gentleman's ability to rebound? Nikolai Hobby Bulin was awesome this entire game.
That Game 3, we came out there and I think we kind of probably shocked them.
In Games 4 and 5, the two teams traded wins. Heading into Game 6, the Lightning were on the brink of entering uncharted territory.
The Tampa Bay Lightning will try to wrap it up tonight and punch their ticket to the Stanley Cup Final for the first time in franchise history.
From the beginning, Game 6 was a microcosm of the series. Back and forth. With his team trailing 3-2, Fedotenko nearly delivered the Lightning into the finals, single-handedly. With a period to go and the finals within reach, Tampa surprisingly seemed off their game.
I found that against Philadelphia, even though sometimes we had the lead, you know, we would get a little nervous.
Johnson in shot. Hobby Bulin at the last second. Furious pressure by the Flyers.
The Lightning in Game 5 had hung on by their fingernails to escape with a win. And I think that somehow they felt they could get away with it again in Game 6.
You could just feel it on the bench. We were almost done. We were almost going to the finals.
2 minutes left to go in the third period. Tampa Bay leading at 4-3. Primo got it away to Tamander. A shot. Primo! Score! Primo has tied the game! And Game 6 is going to overtime.
Now, what was once so close seemed far, far away.
Ronick lets it go. Primo draws inside of the net. Ronick shot. Simon Gagne! We've got a Game 7!
You know, it was back and forth there all game, and then we just collapsed there late in the third and in overtime, and we got to regroup real quick.
There's no time for to look back, and there's no time to be afraid of Game 7s because it's upon us, and we gotta look the devil in the eye and go right after it.
In theory, yes, but not everyone was positive that this young group would respond.
I'll be honest with you, I was petrified of how our team was going to bounce back because that was a tough one to eat. And I wasn't sure how they were going to react.
It's happened to me quite a few times where I haven't been, my teams have not been able to rebound. I'm on the other side a lot.
We immediately talked about it after the game. We said it happens for a reason. It's a test. I think all things you go through is always a test of what you're made of. And we had an opportunity to play a Game 7. We immediately looked as an opportunity.
You go back to 82 games of regular season to fight for that home ice, that Game 7, and we got it at home. And that's big.
With their faithful urging them on, the Lightning knew this game would be a battle, and an early power play was just the thing to settle them down. Freddie Modine gave Tampa a 2-0 cushion. But when the Flyers pulled to within a goal, the Lightning were faced with a moment of truth.
I think the thinking was going into Game 7, look, lesson learned. You know, we tried to stay back and just sit on a lead. That's not our style. We can't play that way and succeed. We're not going to do it again.
Well, they're not backing up as they did in Game 6. Drop it, shot, side, Richards denied.
And when the Flyers did have chances, the defense stifled them at every turn.
15 seconds left. Danny Markov. A lead feed Jamnov. Jamnov throws for Recchi across the blue. Shot goes by. Sam and Abby Bowen. Rebound for beat up the near side. 5 seconds left. Modine clears. Yeah! He clears. Yeah! It's over! It's over! It's over! Yeah! The Lightning will play for the Stanley Cup. Wow, man, wow! That's just wonderful.
One more.
Following the win, the celebration was on in the dressing room, and the effect of overcoming the Flyers was evident.
It's such an emotional ride at this point in time. You know, you win a game, you lose a game, and I felt tonight that we played really well. Even if they scored that goal, we kept coming, and we learned from our mistake in Game 6.
For the first time in franchise history, the Lightning would play for the Stanley Cup, something their captain and 22-year veteran Dave Andreychuk could only dream of, till now.
As a kid, you grew up outside of Toronto. Did you go to the Hall of Fame and look at it? And what was a dream like as a young kid looking at it?
You know, I went, my dad took me, you know, we went and saw it. So, you know, as every kid's dream playing in Canada that, you know, you want to be holding it up someday. And then I guess as you get into your career and you still see it, you still have those same kind of dreams as when you were a young kid.
No man has played more games without winning a Stanley Cup than this man ever in the history of the NHL. He's hoping it's going to be this year.
A lot of this is timing. New Jersey wins the Cup. You come for a few years. You leave. They win the Cup. You're in Boston. You get traded with Ray Bourque. You leave. Bourque wins his Cup. Come on. You ever sit there and say, wait a minute.
It can't be me, can it? Yeah, those especially those cups with New Jersey, where we had great teams there, awesome teams. I had an awesome time in New Jersey. Obviously, you're winning every night there, but that to me, that hurt the most. I was very happy for Ray. I had a chance to go back to Colorado, decided to go back to Buffalo. Those were tough to swallow. You know, I guess when you know guys and you've been on that organization that win, you're happy for them, but you know, I mean, you wish you were there.
Are you one of those guys who's superstitious? If the cup's in the room, I'm not in that room.
Not in the room, but I've never touched it. I've been to the Hall of Fame quite a few times. I've had my picture taken with it, I think, but I've never actually touched it.
Leave it over there.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back then to that kid and every hockey player's dream. You're the kid now, but you have a C on your jersey. And in that dream, Gary Bettman's going to call the captain's name. You're the captain right now. What would that be like?
Ooh, yeah, obviously, you don't know how you're going to react to it, but I just think that it would be, you know, obviously it's the ultimate goal for me. There's no other goals that I can get besides that. I've done everything else in my career that I've wanted to do, but that's why I'm playing. I'm playing to, you know, to ultimately to win, and that would put the cherry on top of the ice cream, that's for sure.
Though he had waited a lifetime for this opportunity, Andreychuk and his teammates stayed loose the day before Game 1.
That's as best as it gets on a rebound shot. Way to end the drill, like, you know, you just go for it. Have we got a shot on net yet? Yeah. We got a shot? Other than Benny's goal? Other than your goal? Good job, good shot, by the way.
I want Conroy. That's who I want you to be.
He's right-handed, and he is always going on his forehand.
We need to be focused and ready to go starting with today, playing tomorrow, right on through this series. You got here, you deserve to be here. Now we got to win the game. That's what you're here for.
go Lightning! Go Flames go! Let's go Lightning! Go Flames go! Let's go Lightning!
In their 12th year of existence, it's party time in Tampa Bay. You better believe it. This Bucktown is now a Bolt Town. And inside, at the frozen tundra of the St. Pete Times Forum, the Calgary Flames have other ideas.
I really think that the three series that they played leading up to the finals, it was will versus skill. And you look at the teams that they beat, and look at the talent, and on paper, and Vancouver, even without Bertuzzi, much better team. Detroit, much better team. San Jose, much better team. And yet, will versus skill, Calgary had the will to win.
To talk about Calgary lacking skill would be overlooking the fact that Jarome Iginla has either led the league in goal scoring outright or tied for the goal scoring lead twice in the last 3 years. How much more skill do you need?
You look at the Lightning team, 106 points, skill, but do they have the will? They haven't played a team like the Calgary Flames. Regier, Commodore, Montador, Brett Warner, they hit, and they take the body all the time, and it'll be interesting to see how Tampa reacts.
They were going along the same lines as we were. Although we were a #1 seed, no one expected us to be there at that point in time. No one expected Calgary to beat 3 division winners to get to the finals. I thought both teams that were there in the finals deserved to be there, so why not be worried? They're the best out of the West, we're the best out of the East. It was time to get it on.
You could see in the first period of Game 1 that Iginla was going to be Calgary's best player. I mean, he was hacking guys, he was taking hits, he was giving it right back. You could see right away that he was going to set the tone.
Andrew Chuck against Conroy, one back by Conroy. Ferrin skates right along the blue line. Long shot deflected toward the net, and it may have gone in, it did. It snuck in under the right pad to Nikolai Habibulin.
To a man, most of them felt that they were coming off such an emotional game in a Game 7 in their home building against Philly and won that series, and they have to come back 2 days later, a little preparation to get ready for that. They felt it was difficult to get their emotion level back up to where it needed to be.
Centers back off the stick of Modine and brought off by Iginla. Lost control, racing down on a breakaway to the net. He shoots, save. Habibulin, the rebound. Iginla puts it in. A short-handed goal for Jarome Iginla. And it's 2-0 Calgary.
Their ability to win on the road is unbelievable. They say in hockey the ultimate compliment to a player is to be able to play well on the road. And Jarome Iginla led the league in road goals this year. And the Calgary Flames are by far the best road team in the playoffs.
Across the line is Simon. Passing Safrikin, high slot. Safrikin to Simon in front. Backhander. Scores! Chris Simon. And the Flames stretch their lead to 4-1.
The underdog has come in, and they have won Game 1 on the road.
You know, it's so many ups and downs. It's an emotional roller coaster. It seems like you're on top of the world, and we just beat Philly a couple days, and we lose to Calgary in the first game, and everybody thinks the world's coming to an end.
Just went over to the trainer's room just to get the usual ice, and it was just the worst news. Andrew Chuck told me to follow him to the coach's room, not knowing why. He told me my house had burnt down, and actually my house is on fire. That's the way he put it. My house is on fire, which is tough news for anybody. I mean, I'm 27 years old, and I don't know one person whose house is burnt down or been caught on fire. And it's going to be a long process this summer to get things back together. But right now, hockey is definitely helping out. The fact that we're in the finals is actually, believe it or not, making things a lot easier, so I can keep my mind off of all the stuff I'm going to need to go through in the off season.
We'll win it in 7. We're going to get one on the road. We're going to get it tonight. We'll win it in 7.
If the Lightning were to make that prediction a reality, then the place for a stand was here. The time now.
Look at this strong effort by Vincent Lecavalier. And Lecavalier wasn't finished on that shift. He took out Andrew Ferris. When Lecavalier comes with that kind of physical effort, you know he's ready to play.
You know, unfortunately, we lost Game 1 at home, but we answered Game 2.
Lecavalier behind the net. Great move by Vinny to get open right circle. LeCavalier then ran into a stick check applied by Ferentz. Puck Colmore. Center point blast. Blocked in front. Rebound. Score! Santecco! And the Lightning strike first!
And it's kind of give us a little bit more confidence, a little bit more jump, and I think, from there it was taken off.
Puck rolled away, Matador from the middle, the shot, get blocked. Here's Richards, short-handed. Richards on a break. Richards in, Matador dives. Side bay by Kaprizov. Tampa Bay looking for a little cushion. Look out! Oh, save by Kaprizov.
St. Louis onside into the offensive zone. Bill Mark behind the net. Marty St. Louis lays it in front. Took a shot, blocked in front. Rebound, Richards shoots. Score!
Game, and they knew it, and they have risen to the challenge here in this one. Richards, shot, score!
I wanted to come out and have a strong game, but just for me personally, after having a pretty tough loss in your personal life, I just want to make sure to rebound and have a strong game, something I can remember. And that's a good memory I'm going to have of me just kind of battling back and fighting back from a tough situation.
And this Tampa team won't sit back, guys. They'll go for more.
Looking into the middle, Stone's wide open for a moment. Simon holding. Boyle looking for his second save. Rebound covered by Kaprizov.
And Simon's going to the penalty box. Andrew check across the blue line for LeCavalier. Right circle. Feed in front. St. Louis. Score! On the take walk for another Lightning.
The big three guys for Tampa Bay have been awesome when they've needed him. Richards, LeCavalier, and St. Louis. Game is over. Tampa Bay wins it 4-1. They've evened the series, and this is what the rest of the series is going to look like.
And the passion level and dislike for one another rises a little.
This has got all the makings of a long, wonderful series.
Was the message being sent in the third period? A couple of fights, and of course at the end, gloves were dropped.
The emotions get going when you look up at the score clock and you're losing the Stanley Cup Finals, and that's what happens. Next game is a new game, and we realize that we got to be a lot stronger, we got to be a lot more intense, and we will be.
Well, I mean, it's playoff hockey. Here's a team we don't see too often. And I thought in game one we played that game like, we didn't really hate that team, And I thought tonight we hated that team a little more, and I'm sure they feel the same way.
The series shifted to Calgary for Game 3, where the Lightning would face a team battling for themselves, their city, even their country.
We are in Canada, Calgary, the site where the passion for hockey runs deep and generations old. They're on hand tonight to try and be the seventh player for the Calgary Flames.
With Calgary's emotions running hot, Vincent LeCavalier fought fire with fire.
LeCavalier out on the ice with him now along with St. Louis, the big line for Tampa Bay. Again, back there battling. He and LeCavalier look like they're LeCavalier and Iginla.
Yikes.
I don't believe it.
Look at this. I've never seen Vincent LeCavalier do this as the aggressor. Jerome Iginla fights way more than LeCavalier, and LeCavalier is holding his own here. To me, this is the continuation of the development of Vincent LeCavalier.
Midway through a tense, scoreless contest came the deciding moment of Game 3.
Here comes a break. Leap pass for Richards. He's behind the defense. He shoots. Oh, what a stop by Kaprizov.
Kaprizov made a really good save. I thought I had it, and I couldn't believe it.
Moments later, Calgary would capitalize.
Iginla pass in front, there's a shot, and the St. Louis scores! Bryn Simon plays lead, 1-0.
Sitting on the bench 30 seconds later, watching them score to go up 1-0. That's tough to handle.
And the Lightning would never recover.
Calgary 3, Tampa nothing.
Well, Kaprizov made the biggest save of the game. It was scoreless. Brad Richards shorthanded. Kaprizov stopped him on the same power play. Chris Simon scored what turns out to be the game-winning goal.
As Game 4 got underway, Richards would not have to wait long for a chance at redemption.
Moves back to Richards. LeCavalier, not a lot of Richards, a shot, it scores! They're on the board! Tampa Bay gets that fatal first goal on a power play.
Game 4 was Nikolai Khabibulin's turn to shine. But a seemingly innocent play nearly ruined his night.
With under a minute remaining here in the first period. Oh, look out, dangerous bouncing puck. Almost slipped underneath Khabibulin.
I was just trying to stop it because the puck was just barely coming to me, and then all of a sudden I think it hit a bump or something, and just right before my stick, it just changed the direction, and thanks God it wasn't going fast, because you know, I'd probably be in trouble.
And the Tampa Bay Lightning have won this game 1-0 as Khabibulin stops the last shot, and this series is even at 2.
Playoffs are so evenly matched. You get momentum like that in a game, score a goal. It's a lot easier to play with the lead than it is trying to fight back. You know, that's just how big it is and how tight it is in the playoffs.
Right now, it's going to come down to a battle of wills. Is Tampa's system going to be able to come on strong enough in the final 2 or 3 games to impose their will on Calgary, or is Calgary's will going to be strong enough to impose their style on Tampa? And I think whoever doesn't get caught up in the other's game is going to have the better chance to win 2 of the final 3.
This series tied at 2-2, and scoring first has been essential, not only in this series, but throughout this playoff year.
I think your players start thinking that if we win this game, we almost have a stranglehold to win the Stanley Cup. And when you start thinking, you start watching. And we watched Calgary play against us Game 5, and it showed.
Tullamore cleared it around, over to get him Matador. Left it near side, shot deflected, score! Martin Shota! And there's the first goal of the game, and Calgary's got it.
We're gonna get better is to win the battles. We are not winning enough battles.
With a renewed sense of fight, the Lightning went on the offensive. They were rewarded with a scoring opportunity in the final seconds of the first period.
Seaback looking, trying to get in on the backhand. Can't. Beautiful tie-up by Brett Warner. Warner was in. Nielsen, backhander. Side, Kaprizov. Goal! Tied up 1-1. It counts.
The two teams would trade goals again as Iginla's tally in the second was immediately answered by Freddie Modin at the start of the third. The 2-2 tie would hold up, and the teams headed into the first overtime session of the series.
We're in overtime. The score will be 3-2 in this game. It's just a question of who gets the 3. Richards sends it back behind the net. Cavalier hit by Leopold. Back for Richards. Richards coming around. Richards a shot. It went underneath him, but not in. Chance for the odd man the other way, and it's Iginla. Iginla, the coverage gets back to Tampa Bay. Iginla looking into the middle. Shot. Oh, what a save. What a move. Khabibulin had to come back from left to right on Iginla's shot. Into the middle. Iginla still out there without the helmet. Sent back into the corner by Regier. Sabrina Nielsen. Nielsen looking cross ice. Saw it. Iginla shot. Save. Khabibulin. Score. Sabrina. Sabrina, the overtime goal. The Flames win it 3-2. They'll have a chance to win the cup at home Saturday.
You know, it just comes down to a bounce here or there. You know, it's 2 good teams, and we're going to have to go in their building and stay focused on what we got to do. Like I said, this team has a lot of character in this room, and we're going to bounce back.
Well, a dream come true. I mean, to be able to have a chance to do something special and to do it at home would be even more special. I mean, we gave ourselves an opportunity to only have one more win, and it's you know, it's a Stanley Cup. We gotta bear down.
Leaving Tampa, the Flames were confident they had scored the series knockout blow. Back in Calgary, the team and the city looked to celebrate its first Stanley Cup championship in 15 years.
All of Canada, I mean, I talked about it, all of Canada was just waiting for them to win it. And That's a tremendous amount of pressure.
Flames in 6! Flames in 6!
We were supposed to lose now. We weren't supposed to win this. And again, it's just about finding your way in a 7-game series. That's what's so great about it. It's a 7-game series, not a 5-game series. So you have those 7 games to try to get it done.
Tampa also had unexpected help as one Lightning forward got a special message from an old teammate.
Tim, Ritual Man, Taylor, how are you? We're calling from Boston, and I'd like to have a little chat with you. You know, a very disappointing loss last night, but I found myself in the same situation going into New Jersey, into Game 6, where we were down 3-2, and the Cup was there, and they thought they were going to bring it out that night. So I'll talk to you soon. Take care, buddy. Bye-bye.
The Ray Bohr call was an inspiration to a lot of guys. This is a Hall of Fame player that took some time out of his day to make the call, and I think it gave us hope that you know, this can be done.
Can you imagine the excitement the Calgary Flame players are trying to control and just play this like a game instead of the game that it is?
Going into Calgary knowing that we have to win to give ourselves a chance, I felt that we're going to do it.
Anderchuk came up, took it away, backhander, save, Keprasov!
And the net better take in front, missed Taylor's stick, but it comes to Gavina. Drives it across, one-timers, deflected save made by Keprasov!
Although the game was scoreless after 1, there was a sense it wouldn't stay that way for long.
You can tell the crowd is nervous too. You know that story about the first goal, and it hasn't come.
So now we have a power play. That's been a pretty strong weapon for Tampa.
St. Louis with it. Hands it off deep center. It's in and score! Not sure how this went in, but it'll be a power play goal. I think Richards ends up getting this.
It's a power play strike for the Lightning, and it's 1-0 Tampa Bay.
The Flames responded by turning up the heat and chipping away at the Blue-Lin wall.
Yell gets there, chips it to Neiman inside of the net. Neiman turns, swings it in front, they score! Chris Clark has tied it. Oh, baby, what a play by Philly Neiman.
Instead of taking control of the game, Calgary took another penalty.
Puck sitting, dug out, Regier, Richards score! What a play! What a play! Brad Richards, his second power play goal!
Tampa Bay trying to force that 7th game. Calgary trying to do it tonight.
Ferentz waits for teammates to get onside. Shooting the puck into Freakin. Driving right to that pass. He shoots. Scores! Marcus Nielsen. It's tied. 2-2.
There's the puck knocked down. Freakin draws 2 people to him. Beautiful play.
And that will do it for this second period. And was it ever a dandy?
Tampa Bay has not had a game in the playoffs this year where it's been tied going to the 3rd. Calgary's 4 wins, 2 losses.
And Martin Chelina, who has had the series clinching goal in each of the 3 series wins for the Flames. You talk about guys that can be dangerous.
Freakin's great speed springs it in.
Off the glove, the stick and glove of Javi Muller.
He kicked it out. The rebound from Karen back. He got it with his right foot.
Yep.
Sensational save.
I think it went on Chelina's skate. That was a close call, that latest one. Now the puck knocked down by Richards, backhanded towards Keprasov. He has it in the glove, and for the 2nd game in a row, we have to go to overtime.
I kept thinking in the back of my mind that, you know, here we go again. You know, I'm going to be close. I'm going to, you know, it's going to be an overtime goal for them that's it's going to knock me out.
Anderchuk would have to endure a full overtime session, wondering if his worst fears would be realized.
Save, Javi Muller. There was the Stanley Cup.
In the second OT, it took exactly 33 seconds to find out they would not.
St. Louis couldn't get it. Colmore steps up. Can he hold it in? Yes. Tim Taylor, left point shot to a screen. Save, rebound.
Most important goal I've ever scored, probably maybe the most important goal I'll ever score. We gave ourselves a chance now in Game 7, and we go back to the home ice.
The first 6 games were forgotten. It was about 1 game, and it was a pretty special one.
Game 7 in the finals, I mean, it doesn't get any better, I guess. I mean, I don't know how many guys can say that they played in Game 7.
For a young group, second year in the playoffs, to have an opportunity to play another Game 7 within the same playoff year, semifinal Game 7, then the finals Game 7, it was supposed to happen. And that's what we were talking about through the last two series. This is all supposed to happen this way.
I was a rack all day. Just tried to calm myself down. 8 o'clock games seem like forever to get there. You wish it was a 1 o'clock or a 3 o'clock game.
It was really kind of, for myself, nerve-wracking right before the game. You know, it was really, it seemed like too much time.
Before you started playing that game, everybody was thinking about, you know, this is something you dreamed about, Game 7, and we had to stay focused on what we had to do. We had to play a strong game if we were going to win the cup.
One of those rare, wonderful treats in sports, a Game 7. Right here, this is it. It's what you played for, it's what you dreamed about, what you hoped for.
With the fate of two teams riding on every shift, neither offense found room to move. Then late in the first period, an opportunity for Tampa Bay. If the Lightning were to seize the moment, it would not be the size of their playbook, nor the strength of their game plan that would win the day.
Remember what you were when you were on the ponds, and I remember skating with a puck, and you'd be the commentator as you're going down the ice, and you're going to score that big goal in Game 7. Think that way, and almost will yourself to this here.
Dropping it off for Modine. Back to the point, right side. There's a shot on that save. Jefferson, another shot. They score! Ruslan Panapenko. 1-0. Tampa.
I got the first goal there and the rebound and the spiral play. And it was one of those things, it was, I guess, right time, right place.
That was huge, that goal. You know, it was the first period, the fans were into it then. Obviously led to the second goal, we started pressing a little bit.
LeCavalier stops. Eddie LeCavalier spinning left circle. LeCavalier in traffic, squeezes free in the slot. Panapenko shot. Score! Score! Panapenko! Another one! Tampa Bay is one period away from winning their first Stanley Cup.
Standing 20 minutes from final victory, the Lightning tried to tighten the noose at the start of period 3.
Our work's gotta take over, boys. Our work's gotta take over here.
You can just feel the tension mounting here for Calgary as they hustle it up and down the ice, trying to find a way to get through.
Nearly halfway through the third, it seemed that Tampa might finally have extinguished the Flames' fire. Then one shot changed everything.
Comes to the line, kept in by Conroy, skates left, winds, fires, he scores! Craig Conroy with a long shot beats Nikolai Habibulin. The Flames are on the board. It's a one-goal game. It's 2-1.
Suddenly, Tampa came perilously close to losing its grip on Lord Stanley's Cup.
In that moment, you know, I think they threw everything at us that they had.
Well, 10 minutes seemed like 20 minutes. Believe me, it was long.
Near side shot, Shawano, that got blocked. Modine.
I was on there for a few of those mad scrambles. I wasn't thinking much except for trying to get the puck out or whatever we could.
You know, we're just running around and just trying to block shots and tip it out of the zone. And once again, I mean, it's 2-1. You never know what can happen.
With the Flames putting everything into a final surge, it would be up to Habibulin to answer one final call.
I remember that save he made. I think there was 4 or 5 minutes left. And I thought the guy would have scored for sure.
Shot, save, rebound, what a save! That may be the one! That may be the one!
You know, I tried to control the rebound, but it went right to the defenseman that was screaming on the other side, and I was just hoping, please hit me.
mean, your goaltender does win championships for you, and he did.
Calgary had its opportunity for a final miracle. And as time ticked away, Tampa would never give them another.
So I thought, you know what, we can do it, and we did it.
5 seconds left. Puck loose in the far corner. Leopold lays it in front. Oh, Abby Bull knocks it away. 1 second left. A shot. It's over. It's over. Stanley Cup. Tampa Bay. Yes. The Lightning has won the Stanley Cup. The Lightning has won the Stanley Cup. How does this sound? The Stanley Cup champion, Tampa Bay Lightning.
As the most valuable player is Brad Richards.
We talked before the playoffs started about this moment. All right, it was a dream then. It's reality now. Tell me what it's going to feel like when you hear that name.
I'll tell you what, you can't put it into words. It's been an unbelievable ride for me. For once in my life, I'm speechless.
Dave Andreychuk has waited a long time for this trophy. Dave Andreychuk, come on up.
This whole playoff run was not just about me winning my Stanley Cup. It was about these guys coming from nowhere and, you know, accomplishing a lot in 2 or 3 years together as a unit. And it was awesome.
Just won the cup, man! Winners for the rest of our lives. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. All the way from Laval, Quebec. Oh, it feels so nice. We're all cheering.
To me, that was one of the most enjoyable things, was to stand back and see some of the players do the things that they do when they're excited. And I just, at that point in time, want to thank them for allowing us to be with them through the couple of past months. Just let them know how much we appreciate them, respect them, and are fortunate enough to be with them. We couldn't have been more prouder before this game started as far as what you guys have done. And for me, I've never done it. I've never gone through it, and a lot of you guys haven't gone. I never realized how hard it was. And for athletes especially, it's not the coaches, and it has nothing to do with anybody except you guys. What you did these 2 months, I'll never forget. Craig Ramsey will never forget. The coaching staff will never forget. So I just want to thank you for letting us be part of it. And whatever that happens here, you deserve.
I mean, there are times when, you know, Torts and I looked at each other afterward, much after the celebration, and we were down in the corridor by his office in the room, and, you know, we looked at each other and said, "Who are we kidding? You know, look at this." And at one point during the conversation, he stopped me and he said, "Listen to us. Listen to what we're talking about." And it is. I mean, it is still hard to believe that that's where we are, because it's happened so incredibly quickly.
I know I said this before the third period, but I want everyone to hear this. Today, we walk together forever.
You know, it was the late Freddie Shiro and told his Flyers teams before their first cup that, you know, we win today and we walk together forever. And I believe that. You know, I believe that it's true. We will be together forever.
to the Stanley Cup celebration for your 2004 Stanley Cup champion, Tampa Bay Lightning.
Tampa Bay, how great is this? Yeah!
I can't spend too much time up here because I know what these guys have been doing the past couple of nights, and they're just not going to allow me to. I think they're ready to drop right now. I didn't think there was going to be 15,000 people here today, but you know what? You guys are unbelievable.
It's taken me 22 years to get here. What a day. What a day. Thank you. You can strike the records now. 1,790-some thousand games that I've played. I finally have a Stanley Cup. We are champions.
Own the great one.
50 goals in 39 games. Thank you. Number 802.
Available wherever DVDs are sold.
The road was long. Heroes were forged. Battles were waged. And in the end, only one was left standing. History has been today for your Stanley Cup champions.